What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Cha-Ching Blackthorne by Clayton Snyder. Guys, whew, this is not only my new favorite Clayton Snyder book, it's one of my favorite reads so far this year. This thing has got a whole lot of goddamn badass, okay? I'm excited to talk about this one, all right? It was an ARC read, so I don't even know if I'll have an image of the cover up here. I hope I do, because I'm doing the whole BAM thing, and it might be nothing. We'll see. Anyway, so yes, this was an ARC read I got sent by Clayton, and man, I am so stoked to talk about this one with you guys, all right? All right. Let's get into it. So Blackthorne is, well, it's a sci-fi slash cyberpunk slash urban fantasy slash military kind of story. And it's all badass. It really reminded me of a lot of other stuff, but in the best ways, and all those things it reminded me of are also badass. So it just... every bit of this I really, really enjoyed. Essentially what's going on here in Blackthorne is we are going to follow the character of Matthias Temple. Now, when we pick up with Temple, we're going to be kind of picking up with him at a young age. This is told through first person, so we're right in there in Matthias Temple's head. And through a series of unfortunate events, we kind of see Matthias kind of get sent from the frying pan into the fire repeatedly throughout his life. Now, one thing that's interesting that we kind of get hit with right out the gate is that Matthias can see dead people. Now, this whole thing, a lot of the stuff that Clayton Snyder's doing is stuff that you will understand, but he's taking a little bit of an unconventional route to this stuff, and I loved that he did this. So he can see dead people, and this is a big prospect for a corporation known as Blackthorne. So they basically adopt Matthias at a young age after a whole lot of bad shit happens to him. And, you know, this is a children experimenting kind of horrible shit, right? Turning kids into weapons kind of thing. And we find out that Matthias Temple is a perfect prospect to become what is known as a necromancer. But this is not your, undead daddy. No, this is way more like Johnny Mnemonic cyberpunk stuff. And yes, he can communicate with the dead, but then he also is able to put these ports in his head, and he can access what is known as the Necronet. And this just gets crazier and crazier. And once again, like I said, this story will just kind of take our main character and keep dumping him deeper and deeper into a pit of just, fuck. All right? And it is action-packed and exciting the whole goddamn way. Loved it. One of the first things I want to jump into is going to be kind of one of the obvious things that Clayton Snyder did that was really did well here, but it's obvious because he does it well in all his books, and that is the relation, like the male-female relationship. He knows really how to create these like guy-gal buddies or couples, whatever, but and their dialogue, their back and forth always seems realistic, you know what I mean? The way that they kind of fuck with each other, jab at each other, whatnot, and how they care for one another. All seems realistic, and he's really good at doing this. Fucking Cord and Nen, you got Jack Nix and Ivy, and now you got Matthias Temple, and I'm not going to talk about the women in Matthias's life, because it's a little spoilery, but nonetheless, when you get these chunks with Matthias and, his friends or whatever, in his relationships, it feels organic, it feels real, and it's funny a lot of the times too, which is, once again, it just kind of rolls back into feeling realistic. It's not rigid. Like in real life, we do kind of, grab ass and take a piss out of everything with our loved ones or our friends and shit. So he's really good at doing this, and he did it again. The next thing I want to talk about is the book's action, because it's definitely a place where this book excels and just goes above and beyond. This thing is fucking action-packed. You'll never get bored. It's just fucking hitting you with all kinds of high octane, good old reading, okay? And this shit gets crazy violent at times too. And Mr. Snyder is not shy at showing you the blood and guts and just all the gore that comes with a body exploding or being stabbed or shot or whatever, okay? And that, to me, I love that kind of shit, okay? If someone's getting shot, I want to know all about it. Tell me about that fucking shit. Tell me about that bullet wound. And fucking Clayton Snyder does, okay? So he'll hit hard. He doesn't pull any punches, and he's got fucking just... It's a goddamn Michael Bay movie, man. This thing is just action-packed. It's fucking awesome. Next thing I want to talk about is kind of the world building and just like the aspects of everything that he's created here, which is another thing for me personally I think felt was super just shining. I thought he did killer here. Now, for people that need like all this shit explained, it's not that kind of deal, and I dig that's the route that Clayton takes here. But what he just is delivering to you is so imaginative and so fucking horrific at times, guys. It is very much kind of like a cyberpunk sort of world of ours. This thing reminded me of Johnny Mnemonic kind of meets Starship Troopers. Fucking insane, okay? You have crazy insect shit that are not only like turned into vehicles and stuff, but you also have like insect monsters. You have witches that can cast these crazy fucking spells, and essentially you get like crazy titan beasts and body horror and all kinds of good shit, okay? The battlefields are fucking just so good, so dark and delicious to read about, okay? It's so good. And it's such a strange, weird mixed mesh of things, okay? Like bees being shot out of a hand like machine gun bullets and stuff. It sounds a little weird. It is weird, but it's done in such a fucking cool way. I love it. Kind of keeping with this too, I want to just kind of elaborate on this stuff because I'm just so excited. Like, he's got fucking crystal bullets, right? Like, so these guns can shoot crystal shard bullets. There are landmines that when exploded, tentacles come out, and they're like Lovecraft mines, guys. There are bullets that are like slime balls with teeth. It's fucking all the kinds of weird that I love. I fucking love it. The next thing I want to talk about is just kind of how Clayton is delivering the story to the reader, because he does the thing where he keeps you in the dark and enlightens you kind of along the way, which is not necessarily, this is something a lot of people do, but this is, along the way, he did something that I don't see too often, and, you know, sometimes for good reason, but he hits you with an event, and you're like, okay, I have the information, but then he doesn't necessarily, he keeps like this bit of it kind of unclear, or, you know, doesn't give you the clarity that you need to have 100%, yes, this is how it all went down. So you begin to kind of doubt if you do have the facts straight, or you begin to kind of get nagged by this question that you're forming in your head. And that might be why some people don't do this kind of tactic very often, because they don't want to nag their readers. But I love this because it does string you along a little bit in kind of the best way. And then when he drops the fucking information on you, it really adds an extra bit of juice to the fucking story, okay? Really dig it. As well as just how he wraps this thing up. He brings you along from beginning to end at such a fucking amazing pace. This thing is fast and just exciting. But then he also wraps it up just in some, like, the best way. I have to admit, like, while reading this, probably a halfway through, maybe 3/4 through, I started to think that I kind of had it figured out, and maybe that might be one of my critiques, is that this thing was a little predictable. But I have to admit, by the end, the way he wrapped it up, I didn't really necessarily see coming, and I just gotta give him a fucking clap for doing it the way he did, because once again, it's a little bit of a zag where other people are gonna zig, okay? So, you know, maybe not everyone might not love the ending, but I'm gonna go out and say, loved it. Now, because this is a straight up rave review, when I do these, I know what I have to get nitpicky with my criticism. So I will do that. And I do think what I could pick apart here, And the thing, and I honestly, guys, this was the deal. Like anything that like I could use as criticism, I guarantee you'll probably be just like me. You don't give a shit because the story is just so goddamn entertaining and bringing you along in the best way that you're like, yeah, whatever. And I think my main criticism is that some of the characters in the story will take a turn and it seems a little much. Like, god damn, that's extreme, like, and quick. That's just it, okay? Like, you just, maybe there could have been a little bit more nuance when some of these players shift their alignment, okay? Not a big deal, though, but it does happen kind of fast. And that might just be also, like I said, this is a fast-paced book, so, you got to keep up, all right? And the next one being, and this is kind of across the fuck, I was thinking about this. The probably maybe bigger than that is the fact that Matthias Temple gets a little lucky. He's in a hell of a lot of hot water, and he always is kind of seeming to get himself out of it from one kind of way or the other, whether it's convenient or inconvenient. He does seem to get lucky as much as he's unlucky, because he does get fucked over in some shitty situations as well. But yes, that could be something that you might consider while reading this, that he's just kind of getting, out of his sticky situations each time. Now, this is why I'm saying this is a strange criticism I realized while really thinking about this, because isn't any story where your main character's surviving, doesn't he have a little too much luck? Because realistically, in any of these stories, none of these motherfuckers are gonna live. Like, they're all gonna die. They're in impossible circumstances. They're fighting the epic fucking crazy battle. They don't live through that shit. So, take it with a grain of salt. Like I said, I'm also nitpicking. I'm like really stretching here. But I have to, when I give such a rave review, I feel like it's just needed for me to dig as deep as I can on both sides of the spectrum. And you can believe me when I'm saying this fucking book is badass, I don't know. Now, as far as my 2 cents for the slow and the struggling, yes, if you've been listening to this at all, you should know that this book is for you. It is lightning fast. You guys will fly through this and have a fuck ton of fun from beginning to end. It is just, I like it, god damn it. I mean, I don't know what else I gotta say. I really do think this is one of those, like, you usually could tell, and this is one of those you should tell. Get the fucking book, read it. You're gonna have a blasty blast, guys. And I am just doing this to Clayton. All right, bravo, brother, bravo. Well, as always, thanks for spending some time down here at the channel. And to Clayton Snyder once again. 2 thumbs up and some claps and all that. Brother, I already told you, but goddammit, I'll say it again. This is my favorite. This is my favorite of yours. You really hit a home run with this one. The mixed mesh of genres, the excitement, the relationships, it is all there. And there's a Yogi Bear reference in there too, if you guys catch that one. So, just a little more juice. To you guys that are still watching, I appreciate it. I really do. I don't know why you I don't know. But I shouldn't question these things, right? I should just take advantage of your of your generosity. Okay, I've said enough. Peace.